In today's video, I'm going to show you how to draft and sew a pair of shorts with an elasticated waistband. You can do this technique as trousers too and style the legs however you like. This particular method I'm doing is suitable for those with curvier shapes. If you have larger hips compared to your waist, you'll be very aware that the biggest trick to getting elasticated waistband garments to fit you is actually getting them on in the first place. So this method today involves a workaround for that. Don't worry if you don't need that. I will tell you the steps to skip to eliminate the extra work for it. So let's begin with the drafting. You will need your trouser block. If you don't have one, please watch my previous video linked below where I'll take you through the process step by step to drafting your own trouser block. You can use it on any of my trouser drafting videos going forward. Trace your block so without any seam allowance added at this stage, you'll be left with your front and back. If you're making shorts, it's fine to trace just to the knee line. So I'll begin by marking out a horizontal line that is my shorts length. We're going to make the whole trouser pattern larger with more ease to get a more relaxed, comfortable shape. Beginning with the front, extend the inner crotch point by 1 centimetre. Remember, I am working on a smaller scale today to allow the camera to see the detail, but get your measurements accurate and ensure you keep your lines running straight. The outer crotch line is extended by 1 centimetre to keep our trousers balanced. The hem I will add 1.5 centimetre to either side. This is actually personal choice. You can shape your shorts more flared or very fitted if you prefer. This gives a more straight leg appearance at 1.5. At the inner waist, extend upwards by 1 centimetre. At the outer waist, extend outwards by 2 centimetres, then go up from this point by 0.5 centimetres. Connect these points up with a curved line. I did this part wrong, I will fix it later. You want to connect to your 2 new green points on your waistline. Also join up all your other points you have made with straight lines and curves as required. The front waistband will have 2 pleats. So the first pleat is easy, we will swap the dart already there for a 2 centimetre pleat instead. Just draw your 2 notches at the dart legs. The next dart will be over by 3 centimetres from the first dart and then again be 2 centimetres wide. Mark it with 2 notches once again. Your pleats will look further over than mine. I have drawn my dart too far over on this template compared to what you have on your own block. Finally, we add a hem. I add 4 centimetres on trouser hems. I find this gives me plenty to work with for different hem finishes depending on my fabric choices. On the inner leg, see how I've tilted my line inwards to mirror the leg shape above. You'll need the fabric when you fold it up or you will pull the leg in out of shape. For the back, we will again make it larger. So extend the inner crotch by 1 centimetre and the outer crotch by 1 centimetre. Copy the hem extension you made on the front, so for me 1.5 centimetres either side. At the inner waist, extend inwards by 3 centimetres and up from this point by 2.5 centimetres. Extend the outer waistband point up by 0.5 centimetres. Join these new points with a curve. Also draw a new crotch curve, keeping the original shape almost just bumped over. The first half of your line should appear almost vertical. Repeat the joining up process around the full leg. The back block has 2 darts on the back waistline to curve in for our waist. As we're adding elastic, that will do the job of them darts, whilst also giving the flexibility of being able to expand and open up if we need it when moving, eating and bending over. So what we're going to do is just ignore these darts completely, and that excess will become the extra space we need for our elastic. If you want even more space, so you intend to have these for full-on lounging around in, then you can extend the outer line even further to give you that room. Just a word of warning though, the more you add, the more fabric you'll get in this lower back zone. If you use a very thick fabric, you may get a sort of nappy effect. Just experiment with what you feel is suitable for your use and fabric. Add a 4 cm extension on the bottom for the hem, matching what we did on the front. Next, add your seam allowances all the way around. Work with 1 cm or 1.5 cm seam allowance, and ensure you have plenty of notches on there to allow you to line everything up during construction. The pocket is constructed now using our fully drafted front as a template. You want to mark the base of your pocket at the crotch line, and your width should extend to the end of the centre pleat, so the original dart placement. Join with vertical and horizontal lines. This is our pocket shape, which we can trace to a fresh sheet of paper. We will cut this on the fold. Mark the pocket opening by measuring 5 cm in from the corner, and then the pocket line will be 19 cm in length. So pivot your ruler till the edge touches the side seam 19 cm long. Copy these notch points to your front pattern for later reference. Label all your pattern pieces and add grain lines and cutting instructions. So that is our short pattern minus the waistband. I will construct this, then show you how to draft your waistband later, as you will use measurements of your constructed shorts. The reason I've done this way round is to allow you to use this method on any pattern, or even clothing you intend to alter that you've bought in a store. The fabric I have used is this bright crepe supine fabric. It's got lots of drape, so it will be nice on the pleats. It isn't too thick, so won't create bulk at the lower back, and it also won't crease easy with wear. You can really use a range of fabrics on this: toweling for the beach, linen will work lovely for summer, a viscose for a really lightweight pair, or simple cotton for nightwear. Just avoid stretch. Starting construction with the front, we will form our pleats first. When I have pleats like this, I like to lay my pieces out side by side, right side up, and work on them in turn in a mirror image. That way I know I have a left and a right side, and I don't accidentally do my pleats the wrong side of the fabric. Use your notches to form the pleats and pin, working in the same direction on both pleats. We will sew along here in the seam allowance to baste it in place. press to help hold the shape. Do it for the other side in the opposite direction. Place the pocket on top, aligning the corners. Mark the pocket opening line using chalk from your 2 notches. I'll show you a close-up here to get your line. Sew along this line with a straight stitch. Remember to backstitch beginning and end. Trim the excess to 1 centimetre and then overlock the edge. Understitch the pocket by sewing 1/8 inch from the seam line, securing the seam allowance to the pocket. Fold the correct way round and press sharp, ensuring you roll the fabric under so no stitch lines are visible on the front. Fold your pocket in half and stitch the lower edge with an overlocker. Pin it down to the side and top in the correct position. Now overlock all the way around your pattern piece. If you don't have an overlocker, you can use a zigzag stitch on your regular machine to prevent fraying. Another alternative is to use bias binding. So there is a completed front section with a nice secure pocket. Join the centre front by aligning at the crotch line right sides together. Sew with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Press the seam open using a pressing ham to help you. The back is prepared by overlocking all the edges to begin. We have no pockets or pleats here, so there is no other work to do. Then the centre back is made by aligning the back crotch seam as we did the front. Sew this with a 1 centimetre seam allowance and then finally press the seam open. We now have a full front and back that we can use to draft our waistband. Begin by measuring across the front waist from one side to the other, including the seam allowances for the side, and repeat for the back. If you are therefore adding this to another pattern or bought garment, all you need to do is remove the original waistband and unpick the side seams by a few inches at the top to give you access. Start by drawing a vertical line to work off. The front waistband is 6 centimetres tall. width is half the front measurement. Draw this box. This is the centre front here, so mark the fold line. We will add some shaping for a better fit, so draw up by 1 cm top and bottom on the outer edge. Curve the line for the last third of the square. We also want to ensure the waistband is square at the end. Form a right angle at the bottom edge and extend this line up to the top edge. This is our front waistband, which you will need to cut 2 of in your fabric, and if decided, 1 interfacing. For the back, you want a depth of 10 cm. For the width, you want to measure half your back minus 8 cm. Again, this is placed on the fold at our centre back point. This is our elasticated portion of the back waistband. Either side of this will be a regular flat back waistband. On a new sheet, draw a box 10 cm tall and 9 cm wide. Label it as the side back waistband, and you want to be sure you get this the right way up. So cut it out and draw some notches that line up with the rest of the back waistband. Once cut, it will be hard determining which way round this piece connects without those notches. Continuing construction, first interface the wrong side of one of the front waistbands. This will make it stiffer, prevent it creasing down as you bend over. But again, this is completely optional. Going forward, the interface front will be the front band, so the one visible when the garment is worn. Align to the uninterfaced front band, right sides together, and sew along the top edge with a 1 cm seam allowance. Understitch this by sewing 1/8 inch from the seam on the back side, securing the seam allowance to the reverse. Press, rolling the fabric so you can't see the stitches at the front. Attach this to our front shorts, matching the centre point and edges. Only pin the interface side. Stitch with a 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seam allowance up towards the waistband. For the back waistband, first attach the sides to the centre, matching the notches. Right sides together and sew with a 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seam allowance inwards on both sides. Attach to the back waist edge, right sides together, matching the centre point. You may get some extension, and that is because depending on your shaping in your block, your hip will curve in but the waistband is straight. Don't worry if this is the case, just ensure it is placed symmetrically from the centre back point and we can trim away the excess in a moment. Sew with a 1 cm seam allowance and press the seam allowance upwards. Next we will form the inner legs. Align them right sides together, matching the centre point and all notches. It's really important here that you ensure your seam allowances are correctly positioned as you sew and you don't tuck them up. Sew with a 1 cm seam allowance. Press the seam open. The outer leg seams are formed last. Pin each side, taking your time to match the waistband points correctly. If these don't align, it will really stand out. One side you will sew from bottom to top with a 1 cm seam allowance. The other side we will insert a zipper. The zipper is crucial for curvier shapes to get in and out. If you don't want to include the zipper, sew both sides from the same from top to bottom and press the seam open. I will not go into detail here of how I inserted an invisible zipper, as I have a tutorial available in the link below that you can watch in detail. So check that out and then come back here to complete. Here is just a quick overview of the process. You want the top of your zipper to end at the fold of your front waistband. Finally, we finish this final edge of the waistband by overlocking around it. If you want a really sharp looking finish inside, an alternative here is to use a strip of bias binding instead. It looks beautiful in a complementary colour. The waistband is folded down like so, ensuring the seam allowance is tucked under around the zipper. Use the pressing line of the front we made earlier to set an even distance. Copy this height on the back waistband where it attaches to the zip. Now you have a nice even top line to follow all the way round. Press the back edge to give you a fold to follow later like we had on the front. Stitch in the ditch of the waistband, beginning at the zipper edge and working your way across the front only to the side seam. Where it reaches the side back waistband, you will need to stop. You may find you have to shift your pins to the other side of your fabric here, or even do a hand-based stitch for an easier option. Work slowly and stay in that seam line. Ensure your thread colour matches your fabric to be invisible. Now we cut our elastic. I have used 2.5 cm wide elastic and I have cut it equal to half my back measurement. You can adjust this to whatever feels comfortable for you. Place it in the back waistband under the seam allowance where the side back attaches to the centre. The top edge of the elastic will sit just below the press fold we made before. You can work one side at once or pin both at the same time, whichever you find easier. Sew it in place with a straight stitch up and down over the seam allowance. So you get a straight row of stitches about 0.5 cm from the side back waistband seams on either side. I go over this a few times to make it really secure. Repeat for the other side the same and ensure all your seam allowances are facing the correct direction as you work. This bit can be fiddly as your elastic is now pulling your fabric so it won't sit straight. As you work, you'll need to feed the fabric around the elastic in sections so it is flat where you are currently working. Just follow it and I promise it will work. Fold the back waistband down using the press fold line as a guide as we did on the front. Match the centre point to the start. Then do one side, then the other. Return to your machine and continuing on from where we stopped before, continue to stitch in the ditch across the back waistband. As you go, shift and manipulate the fabric as I am doing here so it lays flat in the part you're at. We can further secure this elastic and prevent it twisting by sewing a central line of stitching across here. As you work, pull the elastic taut and help it through with your hands either side of the elastic. You don't want it butched up as you sew but flat again. I knocked my camera in the process, but see how I guide it through the machine. So there we have a finished elastic waistband with side zipper. Again, if you don't want the zipper, skip it completely and construct this the same way. This method is very flexible for adding onto other patterns to make them more comfortable. The final part is to finish the hem, which I began by overlocking the raw edges. You can complete your hem any number of ways, the simplest being to turn it under once. Measure 4 cm, then fold it under and press. Sew around this at the top edge of the fold. You can stop there if you wish, or for a more prominent hem, fold the bottom press line up to align with the stitch line and pin on top. Do this all the way round and press. Sew in place with a stitch line 0.25 cm from the top edge of the fold. Press out all the original fold lines. Depending on your fabric, you may need to wash these to get the initial fold out fully. So here we have our elasticated waistband shorts with invisible side zipper. You can omit the zipper if you don't require it, but if you have more than a 7 cm difference in your waist to hip ratio, this is how to get that elasticated comfort without adding loads of bulk at the lower back area. I didn't like the length of these shorts on me when I got them on, so I actually trimmed them down and hemmed them again after I was done. This waistband is really comfortable and allows for more movement. A great alternative to a standard waistband. You can use it on trousers, shorts and skirts. It's a really versatile technique to begin adapting patterns you already own with. If you have liked today's tutorial, please hit the thumbs up and help me make more free content for you to enjoy. And if you want to see that content in the future, hit the subscribe button to stay notified. In the meantime, happy sewing!